All right, we are live. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. We are live on
Mm-hmm.
Women Who Lift Israel with our special guest, Liba Yoffe. Is that how you pronounce your last name? I forgot to ask you before this.
Yaffe. We say
Yaffe.
Yaffe, but it's fine.
Yaffe.
Yeah.
Amazing. So to intro everyone to our group, my name is Sarah. I'm the co-founder of our community. We are a women-only Facebook community focused on empowering women through strength training. And we started these live interviews because we wanted to give you all plenty of inspiration, motivation, advice, and tips from professionals and athletes in the field. This is why I'm so excited to have this conversation with Liba today. So thank you so much, Liba, for joining us today.
Welcome. It's a pleasure to be here. And especially anything with the name Israel. I'm like, yes, I love it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
amazing. So, for those who do not know Liba, Liba is the founder of Spirit Fit Life. It's an incredible community focused on helping women transform their health from the inside out. With over 13 years of experience as a fitness professional, Liba specializes in empowering women to lead stronger, healthier, more authentic lives. And she is a super mom of four beautiful kids, a certified childbirth educator, and recently participated in American Ninja Warrior. So super cool stuff. And I spoke to you. I've been following you for a few months now. I found you through BD Dutch, who we interviewed a few months ago, and the second that I saw like your Instagram account, I was like, we need to get her in this interview. Like she is like so amazing. Like you look like a ninja, like going through like all your gymnastics, and you're so strong and inspiring. And really, I'm really excited to finally have this conversation with you today.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
I'm
let's dig
blessed.
into the questions. So tell us about yourself, who you are, where you're from, what you do, and anything else you'd like us to know about you. And also,
Okay.
what's your mission behind founding Spirit Fit Life?
Okay, cool. Awesome. So I grew up in New York. I was raised in Orthodox. I come from a very mixed background, meaning like my parents are both 𝗪𝗶𝗯, and my father's
Mhm.
from Alabama. So I don't know if you ever heard of that place, but no, I don't think most people don't
Yeah.
know anyone from there. So we have lots of different types of people in our family, which I love, and um, after I got married, I moved to Israel. So if I go,
Hmm.
you said a little bit of how I was growing up, because it's always interesting. People always ask me like, "Were you always into fitness?" Right? So I was like a troublemaker when I was a teenager, if you can imagine. So my outlet was really like any type of movement.
Mm.
It really saved my life. I think it kept me out of trouble. So if you're really into fitness, you're not going to do drugs or do certain things
Mhm.
because like right. So it was really a big way for me to like let out a lot of things that were going on inside. It was something that was always something that I did. I always enjoyed it. So
Mhm.
um so it started movement when I was young. I wouldn't say it was always. I always used it in the healthiest ways, right? I found my balance, but I'll share after. I guess I have a whole journey with powerlifting. I don't know if you even know that about
Mhm.
me, but
No. Cool.
no. So yeah, I can share that next. I can go on, but I have a whole
Do share. Yeah.
yes. Should I share it now or?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, like when I was a teenager, I actually in my house I had like a whole like bench press weight like a whole weight bar, and I would like go to. I never was coached or taught anything. I never even saw someone do this because no girls my age where I was growing up
Mm.
lifted weights. And I would just I loved it, right? It was and it was something I was good at, and I would go in my basement and I would do it. Now I would lift weights, right, and lift heavy weights. And I felt very negative about it, which means that like I felt like it was something that you should hide, that it wasn't something to be proud of.
Mm.
It was like you're gonna look too like the typical thing, like bulky, like it's not feminine. And I and it's and I so then I stopped completely. Like I wouldn't lift anything that was more than like 8 pounds. I'm not joking.
Wow.
And I would, I just felt like it's not attractive, it's not feminine. It's not something you should do. And so I didn't. I did everything else, but I never lifted heavy weights, right? From when I was a teenager. And then I would say probably 4 years ago, I had my first coach, right? I've never had other, like usually trainers don't have trainers, but all
Right,
trainers
right.
should have trainers, which he should. So I hired my first coach. He was an amazing guy. He was an ex-con. He was in jail for 17 years. He was a tough guy, and he said it like it was. So my first thing I walked in there was like, I'm not lifting heavy. I don't want to get bulky. And he like yelled at me. And he was like, what are you saying? Right? He was like, who told you that? Who told you that? Like he went
Yeah.
straight to the point. Like, why do you even think that? Like, what are you listening to that voice in your head for? Like that's ridiculous.
Amazing.
Like right away, like breaking that, and then so once I started really lifting, first of all, I didn't know how strong I was. Like I didn't even know what was possible. Like I surpassed all the records of the past of in the state that I live in since 2013, right? For my weight class and
Wow.
my age, right? So
Wow.
it was only within the first few months. So I have like a strength, right? But I was holding it back, and once I started doing it, it was so empowering. Like people here know that when you lift something heavy, there's just something so like it just gives you so
Empowering,
much
yeah.
more than there's a mindset to it, right? And it's so much like your mind is so much like part of it, the journey. Like when I would lift something heavy and there would be like fear or doubt, I wouldn't be able to do it. And the second I would like be like, you could do this, like I talked to myself again,
Definitely.
like, you got this, and like I did it, right? It was like it's right. So there's something so empowering about it that like who even cares about bulky, not bulky? It's not even like what does it even matter, right? Like you're strong. Strong is the best way to be. It doesn't, So at this point, I'm like, yeah, bigger muscles better. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter to me. But it was a big part of like me, even saying like part of my motto is like I always use the word strong, always strong, building strong self, strong insight, strong mind, because that's a word that's not used enough. Like we don't use that in like with our kids, with the females in general, like being strong. It's like more something that's used for men, and I think it's something that we should talk about. That we should read our kids like you want to be strong, right? You don't want to just look all pretty. You want to be a strong person. That's what
Right.
matters, So
And
that was,
is it and how did you start Spirit Fit Life? It was that relevant to your revelation of like how important it was to be strong?
right. So about 2 years ago, I opened up Smurfette Life. Now I had my own gym and I was training people, and it was like tick tick every minute. I'm like, this is so boring. It was like I didn't feel like driven. Like it wasn't. There was something missing, right? And I felt like I wasn't really helping people because there's so much more than just like do this movement. There was like mind goggles people have, and there's just so many deeper things. So I had no idea. Like I just wrote a post about this, but I had no idea that even I could do something like this. I didn't graduate college. I was a troublemaker, right? Meaning I never sat at a desk in my life. I never thought of myself as a businesswoman, right? And as soon as I started, it was like an influx. Like it was like this thing is missing in the world, and it's your purpose. Like you have to accomplish it. Like no one else does what is doing this. It does not exist. So we're only 2 years, and we have like right now we have 90 members of our and this is
Wow.
not like it's not a subscription, it's a high ticket program, right? We have therapists, we have specialists, we have holistic doctors, like it's a real team, right? So I never even dreamed of what so I always say to people like, did you go out to achieve this? I didn't even know what was possible. It was like it happened because right, and it was like of all the things that I've ever done, it came to this. So the fact that, let's say, with the powerlifting, I decided not to compete in competitions, like bigger competitions, because they didn't let me compete in like modest clothing. I had to wear like a
Right.
singlet,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to because I just I felt like I don't really care so much if 30 seconds I go and wear something. It was more of like the principle of it. Like a lot of people, like in let's say who identify themselves with me, right? Right. So for me, let's say withholding a certain value to them, like is it's very empowering. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
right, there's still, you can still attain that, and you could still, right, and also like, it, they also identify with that, just like,
Definitely.
a ninja, certain
They
things.
get
So
inspired from that and motivated from that. Yeah.
right. I felt very strongly at that point that like this strength that I have it's going to give me so much more when I give it to others, when I share it with others, that this is my outlet. Like in that. That doesn't mean I don't want to compete in other things. That's why I did ninja. But like a lot of that was able to be used, for this in
And
my business.
how can you talk a little bit about how Spirit Fit Life is different from a regular training program? What?
Right. What
Yeah.
do we do? Yeah. So Spirit for
Yeah.
Life is a program, I would say we help women become leaders of their lives in all areas, right? Fitness, nutrition, and mindset mastery. So,
Wow.
we have different divisions, but it's a whole self program. It's not about one thing and not the other. Like we want to help women become strong in everything that they're doing. So we're all connected. So you can be like physically strong, but you could also be like, you know, not going after like your dream job because something's holding you back because you don't feel good enough, right? Like it needs to go
Mm-hmm.
together, right? You can't physically
Mm-hmm.
stay strong if you're not mentally strong. Everybody who's physically strong has a mental strength, right? So it goes
Yeah.
together. So our program has all those areas and a very high level of it, which means
Amazing.
everything's customized, created for every individual, and everyone gets like there's daily accountability. We have workshops, we have retreats. With 2 retreats a year. I'm hosting a massive event this summer. It's a women's empowerment event, and it's going to be open to the public. It's our first time opening up to everybody, not just members.
Wow.
So there's a larger mission, like to impact women. Like I want to impact women. To really change the way that they view themselves and strength in all areas. So that's what we do.
Amazing. And there's always like a place for improvement throughout your journey in life. So if like you improve like your strength at some point, you can concentrate on another aspect in life
For
that
sure.
you'd want. It's so amazing. I think what you're doing is amazing. So
Thank you.
um so you touched this a little bit, but I want to go back to this. I wanted you to start from the very beginning. So what was young Liba like?
What was it like? So I had a lot of energy as a kid. I would like as a little kid. I had to explain myself. I was a troublemaker, but I never got in trouble. So I always got away with everything. You can imagine the type of kid who like looks so cute and like would do trouble, but then like the teacher would be like, "Oh, she's innocent. It was her fault." That was like I don't know why. I just, I had this little charm that got me away with everything. But I was a little leader when I was a kid. Like I led a like little day camps since I was 10. I saved my money and bought myself rollerblades and bikes. When I was young, I worked from when I was in ninth grade, right throughout high school. Like I made up, like I did physical therapy on a kid who had like I don't even know why they trusted me, right? Like I did all, I was a gymnastics coach and I rode my bike to school, which in rollerbladed, which was 5 miles away. That was me. That
Amazing.
type,
So much energy.
Yeah. So, I would say that was little Liba. I didn't really do school so well.
Mhm.
But my principal. I started High Lifeline in the state that I was in a branch. So I made moves, but they were my own style, basically.
Mhm. Amazing. Um, so we actually want to bring awareness to the importance of strength training for women.
Yeah.
What do you think are the main benefits of being a strong woman, both
Okay. So
physically and mentally?
right,
Yeah.
exactly. So we actually like in Spirit for Life, we have a specialty program called pregnancy and beyond, right? Special for women, let's say in childbirth years, before, after, at any point, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if we're talking about like that stage, it's crucial. I mean, it's such an important thing, and it's the most I would say like neglected. Like women neglect their bodies; they don't take care of themselves, and they have babies, and their body falls apart, and it's
Mm-hmm.
everything. You meaning they don't realize that their knees hurting because their hips are weak, because their core is weak, because their back hurts, and they're just living life like as if it should be normal. Like no, it is not normal to pee because you sneezed. Like you could do
Mm-hmm.
something about it. So
Right.
it's that there's just even that awareness that like, you know, that like this is not the way, like you could be strong, you could feel strong. I think that they think, a lot of women think that, let's say, having babies equals this, and that's how it's meant to be. But really, you can be just as strong as you were. Like if you were strong before, then you can be the same. It doesn't just like take away your strength. It doesn't destroy your body. If you could have a, I'm the most fit I've ever been in my whole life after 4 kids, right? I'm
Hmm.
stronger than I ever was. So right, so that's just that the knowledge, but it's so important to maintain health, specifically for women who go through so much. Like carrying groceries, meaning if you have a weak core, you're going to hurt yourself. Like daily life of
Mm.
what we do, we need to be strong, like, for daily life, going about daily life, just doing regular things. And if we're not strong, we're injuring ourselves all the time, because our bodies are all off, right? So specifically, like through those years, it's crucial.
Hmm.
I speak to
Definitely
women in their
carrying
20s
your
and they
baby.
feel old. Right, they feel
Yeah.
old at 20. I have women, they're 26, they're like, I feel like everything hurts me. They're 26. Like, what's gonna happen when you're 46? Like, everything hurts you already. When was the last time you actually, did any strength training? So like
Right.
my main thing is strength training. Like, yeah, we'll do some other stuff, but like strength training is the biggest, the most
I
important
definitely
thing.
had like this mentality the first time I like gave birth. I was like, okay, so now I'm getting pregnant. Let's stop all form of exercise. And then
Right,
I gave birth and I was like, okay, now's the time to focus on my baby. Like, I have like this green card to like not do anything. But
right,
actually, I really felt like sorry for the French like shit like the whole time,
right.
like I feel like the next time ``B'ezrat Hashem, I really want to like take care of myself because I'll be mentally more, stronger and more prepared to take care of a baby.
For
So
sure, and I think there's the knowledge that people feel like you're fragile. Like you're not fragile. Yeah, you gotta do things differently, but like a lot of things you could keep doing, and you should keep doing. So
right.
I think it's the knowledge. They don't know what to do, so they don't do anything, or they stop, or they feel a pain, and they get scared. Right.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
learning your body and understanding your body, like, okay, this is a good pain, this is a bad pain. And like having that guidance of what's right to do. Your body will break down if you don't strength train,
Mhm.
you know? And it's lost because everyone's into cardio, 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 right?
Yeah.
Like lose weight, cardio, like very
Young
nice. Like
cardio.
you could do cardio, but you're
Yeah.
not gonna feel strong. Like runners, a lot of runners have really weak cores and their spines are compressing. If they don't do
Mm.
strength training, they will get injured. They can't. Strength training makes you running faster, but they like forget about it, you know?
And I personally found that like to have like a good workout for running, I need at least like, half an hour, and it needs to be intense and long, but when you're a mom, you might not have this like time every day. And when you're
Right.
strength training, like 20 minutes is enough. Sometimes we do like an AMRAP that's like 12 minutes and I worked out for the day. So
Totally.
it's like
Yes.
really convenient, like when you're busy. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I love that. When you get like a good burn when you're strength training, you're like sweating. Like people don't think that's possible. They think you have to do cardio in order to like
Mm.
get your heart rate up. They don't understand. There's like such a miscommunication of like information about strength training for women.
So you are a mom of four beautiful children. A lot of our mommies in the group feel really overwhelmed when they hear of mommies like you and Didi that are able to, train so well and take care of their family and work full time. So how do you find time to train? How do you do it?
Okay. Secret. Nobody does everything, right? So I don't go shopping for food. I very rarely do the cooking in the house. Um,
Mhm.
nobody can do everything, so don't try to do everything. That's first of all. Like know your limits and delegate, and don't feel guilty, right? Oh, I feel too bad to get someone else to do this, right? Like you're not doing anyone a favor. Like you're not doing your kids a favor by not taking care of yourselves, right? So
Mhm.
I make like my non-negotiables, we call them. Like, what is your non-negotiable? Like, no matter what, I'm going to do X amount of workouts a week, right? No matter what else
Mhm.
is going on. Like, it's not a negotiable. It's not if it happens. Like, this is my
Mm.
existence, part of what I do. It's not an option. So if I have to once in a while go when my kids just come from school. I'll go, but I'll try not to. Right? I usually go before they wake up in the morning, early in the morning. Like, so I go to the gym at like 5:30. If I had a newborn baby, I wouldn't be able to do that. So
Right.
don't compare. If you have a little baby, I remember after I had when I had a little baby, I would like walk up the steps to the gym. I'm like, I'll do like a little losery workout. I just felt so like, right. It was just, there's certain things you could do at different stages. That was where I was holding right then. My kid didn't sleep for more than a half an hour. So you have to be realistic with yourselves, but that doesn't mean, sometimes we think all or nothing, right?
Right.
So you say 20 minutes 3 times a week from your house, you could fit in, right? That's why my program is very much into like individual from your home, right? 20 minutes, whatever amount of times a week, you have the right workouts made for you. It's a mindset if you can't do it. It's not that I don't have time, right? Because they very successful people are way busier than us and they have time to work out, right? So you know what I mean? It's very much like mindset, and also know that you can't do everything. So you have to see what you could give up to somebody else that you don't absolutely have to do, so that you can fit time in for yourselves and make it a must, not a maybe, because we'll always be busy and we'll always be pushing things off.
Right.
Because there's always more important things. So
Yeah, I used to think that, for example, like I was not like a morning person, and I would leave my workouts for the evenings, but I realized that like putting them in the morning as soon as I wake up, then I don't have like kind of a choice to like skip them because they're done and over with. And like I noticed that each time I like I don't prioritize my workout and leave them for the end of the day, I end up like not doing them. I like have excuses at the end of the day where I'm don't have the time. So I like what you said about waking up at 5:30, getting it done, like checked and over with.
Right.
Yeah, prioritizing it.
Right, but for some people, like when they think never going to be a morning person, so then they are like, forget it, right? So I always tell members like, don't push yourself into something that is like, if you have more energy in the evening, or what's your time that you thrive in the night? Don't talk to me. I'm going to be really obnoxious because I don't want to talk to anybody, right? Like meaning like I'm out, I'm done. I just gave the whole day. Don't even, right? I'm not doing anything. No housework, done. Right in the morning, I'm like, life is have the best life ever. I love life. Right? It's like I'm so energized. So that for me is my time. But for you, you have to be realistic with yourself, and also know that, like, let's say your time is 2 in the afternoon, so your alarm goes off on your phone. If you're a minute, someone calls you, say I have a very important meeting, hang up. You lock your door. This is my time. 20 minutes. Like that's it. You don't do anything else during that time, because if one more load, I'm just gonna one more this, I'm just gonna do, like, I literally drop and go. And it's always time, like, don't do one thing. Right? Get used to committing to your commitments that you made to yourself.
Amazing. So speaking about your family, I often hear you talk about your daughter and how she is a major source of inspiration for you. I followed her story on Instagram, but I would love you to share and elaborate a little bit with our listeners.
Okay, yeah, sure. So my daughter 𝗵𝗲𝗀 is 12, and she's an awesome girl. She's got a huge personality.
She's
and when
so
she
cool.
was, yeah, she's so cute. She's so cute. She's very upset at me. She's like, you never let me speak. Like, she wants a platform to talk. Like, and like she's like, you always take over all the workshops. I'm like, it's like, you wait for your time, girl. But so when she was 2.5, she lost all her hair. She has alopecia. It's an autoimmune condition. She's not sick. She's actually super healthy, meaning she has like a super immune system, like super fighter. So she basically never gets sick, never catches anything. Yeah. So it's she has no hair anywhere. Body hair, she's completely bald. So we realized when she was young that, like, it was up to us. Like, if we wanted her to be confident, we had to ourselves have complete, like, not even like hope, like keeping inside. Like, we didn't even feel anything negative. We didn't feel any shame, any embarrassment, or even like we wish anything. Like, it should be like not completely, like, doesn't right make emotional, not anything. So we knew that, like, if we want to give that to her, we have to feel it first, and that's part of my passion of like helping women. Like, we have to be strong before anything else. Like, you can't raise children that are confident or healthy if you don't
you're not
feel
yourself.
yourself. because they will understand it without you saying a word, right? So, you know, so that was something that like was, we worked on. And she is like, it's really amazing because she goes around bald. She goes to new places completely. She's like, whenever she goes somewhere new, she doesn't specifically wear anything on her head because she wants them to know who she really is. They're not gonna recognize me
Wow,
next time. She's
that's
like, they won't
so
recognize me if
amazing.
they see me like without it. Like she'll literally see something for the first time and she'll be like, she'll just pick it up. Like, and she's a popular kid, so it's not like she's like it's weird what she's doing. That she knows exactly she's doing it on purpose. She's a very cool kid. So like, when she was younger, there was times that she would come and be like, someone made fun of me, right? And we would like, our big thing was like, no pity, like no pitying, no like, like she would cry and then we would cry because it's so sad. Then like she has to now handle that we're sad, right? So we didn't,
Mm,
so we allow her to feel it, but also don't show her that like we're pained by it because then it's heavy for a kid. So
mm.
like, also, how do we empower her? So we would say to her, so did they make fun of, like, what did they say? You don't have any hair. So it's like, so like literally the story, I was like, so do you have hair? No. Like, all right, cool. So like I would stare at you if I saw you. Like, of course I would stare at you. You look different than everyone else. Like, state the obvious, make it into like a normal thing. Like, I would also stare at you.
Mm.
Just like don't make it into this thing that like, oh, I'm so sorry, someone made fun of you, and like we would be like, let's go back and talk to them, tell them like, yeah, why don't you have hair? Like, let's tell them what you want, and we'd go back to the kids and we would be like, I like when she was little, I would be like, she has alopecia. Are you wondering why she's in here? Is that why you're staring at her? Like in a nice way. And then they'd be like,
Mm.
oh, she's normal. Like her vibes are normal. So kids forget, right? It's when you give off this like, right? So that's how she, and then, I remember when I lived in Israel, because we lived in Israel, she was little, and I was like, everybody stares at you in Israel. I'm like, they would come back and back up and be like, no, Matosa. Like, why'd you do that to her? Like, they'd say the funniest stuff to me. And
Really?
yeah, like they'd be like mad at me, like, what did he do? Or like, dude, like they're just very obvious, like they would walk past and then like back up and be like, right? But then also, I remember like people on buses, and I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, and because Israel's like they're much more straight up in Israel. In America, they like pretend behind the scene, right? So it's like it's gonna be so hard for her to hear. And then we moved to America, right? And we came back like 2 years later, and I was like, nobody stares at you in Israel anymore. And I was like, oh, it's me, right? Because that was right away. Like it was my own self that was insecure and felt
Wow.
all the stares. And then 2 years later, it was like, nobody stares at us. Not because nobody stares at us, because it doesn't mean anything. It's meaningless, right? And
Mhm.
that's how she is now. Like it doesn't. It's it's not negative. There's nothing that needs to be fixed about her. If anything, it makes her unique and extra special. And that's like how she is. Like that's that's how she feels. It doesn't matter what people think or say. It makes a difference because she knows. I'm sure it might change as she gets a little bit older. But at this point, that's, and she's very much like loves like helping other kids
Right,
who
that's
we have.
something I saw also.
Yeah,
She seems so special and also really strong emotionally. And for a 12-year-old, like she stronger than
yeah,
some women that I know my
right.
age. Yeah.
Thank God.
Amazing, thank
Yeah.
God. So, if I understand correctly, you're the first religious woman who participated in an American Ninja Warrior in a skirt. So, can you
Mm-hmm.
talk a little bit about the experience and why it was important for you to be on the stage?
Sure. So I actually came across Ninja this past October, so it's pretty recent, which is
Wow.
crazy. Yeah, which is crazy. I made a commitment to myself at the beginning of the year that I'm going to do something new and fun, and like I love doing everything. Like if you say something, I want to try it, right? Like always, I just want to do everything. But I was like, I'm going to pick one
So
thing and I'm going
awesome.
to really, become good at it. So somebody actually in social media, a different athlete, he messaged me. He's like, you should do ninja. Like you would be so good at it. Um, and it's something that I watched and knew about, and I was like, all right, there's my challenge, right? So I googled the ninja gym, and I went there, right? And if, like I was hooked right away. I'm like, this is so much fun, and then I was only, I would say, 4 months doing ninja, and I applied to American Ninja Warrior. which is crazy because I never ever been in
Wow.
any real competitions. So there's athletes, there Olympians, there's most of them, almost I think
Wow.
everybody there has been in competitions for years. Not ninja competitions in like their field, like runners, gymnasts, right? But for me, there was a few things. So one of the missions was that like I wanted like women, right? Specifically, like any woman, but specifically women who dress modestly, so that they
Hmm.
identify with me, right? To be able to say like, if she could do it, then I could do it. Anyone can do it. You know how many? I got so many messages from women about it from their daughters. My daughter is like, my daughter
Yeah.
this, my daughter, right? And that was like, that was the point, right? Like, and they're like, you're breaking glass ceilings, right? You're showing us that it's possible, right? Even that like you could go after certain things and that doesn't like have to impact your values, right? Sometimes we think it's like so black and white, like, right, like you can maintain values and also be an athlete, right?
Hmm.
That that even the fact of just showing up there and representing, being the first woman is is now what people that come after, girls that see that are be like, oh, someone did it, like I can do it. Usually the first person has to do it in order to be able to like others see it, like what Beatty's doing. Like it's never
Definitely.
been done before, and it's I look up to her that she does that. So that was a big thing. Like I really wanted to be able to, be that person to represent, and also for my own, like I didn't even realize this till afterwards as much, but like for myself, like I felt like growing up that I loved sports and I am athletic, and I never had outlets for it, and I felt like I was missing. I really wished at points that, like, I was jealous of kids who went to public school, right? Like I wished I felt like it's so unfair. Why don't we get to have these opportunities? Like I wanted it so badly, and I'm very competitive. Like
Yeah.
so it was something that I always wanted to be really good at something, like really good at it, and like I love when people like I love training like really hard, right?
Mm.
Um, so for me, it was kind of like fulfilling some part of that self, like to be able to do that as an adult, and it's like, doing that thing that I always wanted and enjoyed, on a bigger stage, not just like on my own.
How did you prepare for Ninja? I was gonna say Ninja Israel, but Ninja Warrior. Did you have to change your workouts or train with a
Yeah,
special coach or?
yeah. So there's ninja gyms. It's a whole community ninja. It's actually like a big sport. There's
Okay.
like American Ninja Warrior is like one competition that's actually like also a reality TV show, and then
Mm.
there's ninja competitions that have just to do with the sport and your age range, and it's
Oh wow.
very like there. Yes, so there's a ninja gym that I go to, so I would train there, and I stopped, like I do a lot of like body weight training, pull ups, tons of upper body, and a lot less weights. So like I never do bicep curls. I haven't done it in years. I don't need it. I do a million pull ups. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's different.
Yeah.
Like it's different type of different type of training. A lot of tons of balance, and core strength, so I mix it up a lot more than I would. Um, but I would go to specifically train just a ninja like 2 to 3 times a week.
Got it.
You
So
can't
we have
overtrain because you rip all your hands up, like you're like bloody. So if you overtrain, you'll kill yourself basically.
we have one question from
Sure.
the community. So I've never done a pull up before. How should I start?
Good question. So
Hmm.
how should you start? So if you have a band, right? So there's bands that help you. So if you have a pull-up bar, you attach the band to it and you put your feet in it. So you either could put your knees in it, so you can do it with your knees bent, feet straight, whatever. So it assists you, and it will help you do it until you get strong enough to do it on your own. But there's so many, like that's just on the pull-up bar. There's tons of exercises you could do to strengthen the muscles, so that besides just with doing pull-ups. If you go to my
Right.
page, you'll see I have like different stuff that can help you.
Awesome. So, to end the interview on a positive note, give us a few last words of inspiration from the heart. What is your motto in life and why?
Hmm. Um, I would say don't compare your journey to anybody else's, right? Your success is compared to yourself. So like only measure yourself up to how you were yesterday, right?
Right.
Because
Wow.
it doesn't move you forward, and it doesn't help, right? Your success is going to look very different than somebody else's, and when you're able to see that, you can actually enjoy your success, right? And appreciate yourself. So that's just a really important thing. And also it's so important to believe in yourself, like to believe it's possible, because you're the only one that really holds yourself back. So believe,
So
like,
true.
really learn to really believe in yourself, that you can, go after your dreams and accomplish things. And if not, then really get in touch with those limiting beliefs, so that you could thrive and feel strong and healthy and empowered in all areas of your life.
Amazing. I love better than you were yesterday. That's actually my motto. I like post it
Uh-huh.
every other day. It's like
That's
just
awesome.
trying to be a little bit
Right.
better than yesterday, because when you're trying to focus on like huge goals, or like, a huge
Right.
number on the scale that you're supposed to lose, or things like that, then it seems like impossible. But when you want to focus on baby
Exactly.
steps, the baby steps become a huge journey and huge
Right.
strides. So amazing. So we finished the interview. Thank you so much, Liba, for your time. It's been so inspiring, and I want you to give you the opportunity to tell our listeners like where they can find you and reach out to you.
Okay. So I guess we could probably put in the comments also. I could
Also,
send you my link.
definitely.
Yeah. So you can find me on Facebook, or under my name, Liba Yoffe. We'll put it below, and my Instagram feed, which is the 𝗪𝗲𝗀𝗀𝘆. And then we also have a website. So I will put that down. It's 𝗪𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀.com, where you can find out just more about me and about Spirit Fit Life. All right.
And your members are from all over the world, or just in America?
All over the world. Israel, England, Australia,
Amazing.
and America. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. I really
You're very
enjoyed
welcome.
speaking to you.
Thanks for having
Bye. Have a
me.
great day. Bye.